Hello everyone and welcome to this year's Premier League predictions. The league is finally back. It kicks off in just under a week when Arsenal face Crystal Palace, and boy I have missed it. It's just been a very dull summer, especially considering the World Cup has moved to winter. But the Premier League is finally back, so sit back and enjoy because this is going to be a long video. Like the video if you do enjoy, because I'm sure you will, and subscribe if you are new. I've also managed to get a few cheeky collaborations, so you're going to have to watch out for those throughout the video. I got so many predictions wrong last year, but it's not going to be the same this year, so let's get into it. And starting with the team I think are going to finish bottom of the Premier League, it's going to be Bournemouth. I watched them last season in the Championship. I do not know how they got automatic promotion spot, but Nottingham Forest just bottled it. But they've made two free signings, not very good signings. It's just not looking good for Bournemouth. They're going to be very reliant on Dominic Solanke, who I think will score in the Premier League, but won't score enough for them to stay in the Premier League. And it's not necessarily like Bournemouth's ground. There's an absolutely amazing atmosphere. You look at 2 seasons ago, Scott Parker was sacked as Fulham manager, so he doesn't really have the best reputation in the Premier League. So I think Bournemouth are going to finish right bottom of the Premier League and go right back down to the Championship. Now I'm going to go with the team I think will place 19th, and this one might surprise a few people. I've gone with Brentford. They've lost Christian Eriksen, their best player last season, and he was only there for half of the season. They're going to struggle with goals, which obviously means they're not going to win games. I'm going to make a really specific prediction in saying Ivan Toney will leave Brentford in January. Someone like Aaron Hickey, very good signing, solid left back, but I don't think that's going to be enough to keep them in the Premier League. So Brentford, you had 2 seasons. That's good enough for you. 18th, Everton. You know what? There probably is a bit of bias. I don't like Everton. I'm a Liverpool fan. But I think most football fans in the world can see Everton are absolutely terrible. Yeah, Dwight McNeil, they might say it is a good signing. He scored 2 goals in a pre-season friendly. He's not going to be doing that in actual matches. He was terrible for Burnley in the last 2 seasons. Frank Lampard will be sacked by December. They're bringing Duncan Ferguson for the 3rd time, and he'll try to keep them up, but he won't. He'll have an initially good start, but then it will all go downhill with Everton just about getting relegated for the first time in the Premier League era. 17th, Forest. They've made a lot of good signings, to be fair to them, but I think there's just going to be a few jitters seeing as they're all new to the Premier League. Do I think Jesse Lingard is going to be the man for them? Yeah, potentially. He could be very good. He is a quality player, there's no denying it. And the City Ground is going to be absolutely buzzing with the fact that they've just been promoted back to the Premier League. They'll just about beat Everton to 17th spot and just about stay in the Premier League. In 16th, I've gone with Southampton. They're going to do what they always do. They're going to be fantastic for the first 3 or 4 months of the season. They're going to beat a few big 6 clubs. Then they're going to tailor off come December and they won't be great. And then in the last 6 weeks of the season, they'll be the worst team in the league. But that form at the start of the season will keep them up quite comfortably. And the likes of the signings of Gavin Bazunu and Roman Lavia from Man City, they're very good. And I think Gavin Bazunu is going to keep at least 10 clean sheets in the Premier League this season. That is a bold statement, but you got to back the Irish lads. I say back the Irish lads. Mark Travers is in goals for Bournemouth, and I said he would finish bottom of the league. 15th, and it is finally their year. Fulham to stay in the Premier League. Next year, we might be seeing Fulham and Norwich in the same league. Unbelievable, Jeff. They've made a lot of very good signings, and let's be honest, last year they had a Premier League level squad. They absolutely dominated. They obliterated the Championship. Luton Town were pushing for promotions. Well, towards the end of the season, Fulham went to beat them 7-0. Yeah, they've lost Fabio Carvalho, who was brilliant for them last year, but they brought in Andres Pereira, Palhinha, 2 very good midfielders. I'm going to say it's going to be Harry Wilson's year. He's finally going to break out. He's finally going to show that potential he did when he was a Liverpool Academy graduate. He's going to get 15 goal involvements for Fulham, along with Mitrovic finally bagging over 10 Premier League goals, and Fulham stay up comfortably, finishing 15th. 14th, Brighton. They're a good side, don't get me wrong, and I think this one will surprise a few people, but they've lost their 2 players. Well, Cucurella is still employed, but he's handed in a transfer request. He wants to go to Man City. And obviously, they've already lost Yves Bissouma, so they're not looking good for the next season, as they haven't really got adequate replacements to those 2 players. Brighton have brought in Dennis Undev, who got 26 goals in the Belgian League last season, so maybe this year they can finally start bagging a few goals. But I think ultimately it's still going to be mid-table for Brighton. 13th, Leicester. Yeah, again, another surprising one. They're going to fall off. I really do believe Cassius Schmeichel could be off. Jamie Vardy's injuries aren't going to slow down. They're going to rely on their best player, James Maddison, who could potentially be off. Newcastle have put in a bid for him. Spurs are interested in him. He could be leaving. Leicester can't score goals. They have a very injury-prone squad. They don't have a big squad. They haven't spent enough money. I think Leicester are going to fall off a lot this year. Whether it be the end of this Leicester glory era, I don't know. They're going to go another year without European football. In 12th, I've gone with Jesse March's Leeds. I think they've made a lot of very good signings. Yes, they've lost Rafinha and Calvin Phillips, but the signings they have made have been fantastic. If Bamford can stay fit this season, which I do think he will, he'll bag the goals. So that's what they were missing last season. And they brought in a few central defenders so they won't be leaking as many goals. And Leeds will be back to the project they were 2 seasons ago of trying to be a stable Premier League club. 11th, I've gone with Crystal Palace. They've made some decent signings. They're not going to miss Conor Gallagher as much as people think they are. I don't think there'll be much of an improvement for last season. They'll be battling for mid-table, and that's probably, I don't see them getting anywhere near European football. But they will slowly progress, maybe go far in a cup competition. As it stands, Patrick Vieira's men are looking good for the upcoming season. And in the very middle of the Premier League, I've gone with Wolves. They've made some good signings, especially Nathan Collins becoming the most expensive Irish player ever at £25 million. Very good young centre-back. I do have worries for them goal-wise. Jimenez wasn't great last season, and he's their only striker with Fabio Silva gone off on loan. So of course there are going to be concerns goal-wise, but with the likes of Pedro Neto finally getting up to speed and coming back from injury, I think they're going to be alright. And defensively, Wolves have always been quite solid, and I think Jose Sa is going to have an even better season than he had last. There's still a month left in the transfer market. If I was Wolves, I'd be bringing in a new striker, but other than that, they're looking very good for the upcoming season, and I think they're just going to finish middle of the lot. 9th, Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa, and they're proven from last season, finishing 14th, and I think they're going to be battling for Europa League, but they'll fall off towards the end of the season. They have made some fantastic, utterly brilliant signings. Diego Carlos and Kamara, two very good players. Europa League, maybe even Champions League level players, and they're now stuck in mid-table with Aston Villa. I think they'll be battling for the Conference League spot, maybe the Europa League spot, but I don't think they're going to get it. Like I said, I think they're going to fall off eventually. But slow improvements from Steven Gerrard's men.
Yeah, of course.
In 8th, I've got the men with the money. The richest football club in the world, and that is Newcastle. They haven't splashed the cash as much as I would have expected them. I thought they would bring in a striker and a right winger, but they haven't. But Sven Botman's a very good signing, quality young centre-back. And I think they'll be very close to finally breaking into Europe, but I think they'll just about miss out purely because Callum Wilson will pick up a few injuries and Chris Wood will just not do the job. Now, moving into the European places, the top 7. 1 Conference League spot, 2 Europa League spots, and 4 Champions League spots. And the club I think will be taking that Conference League spot will be West Ham. The exact same finish they got last season, but this season I think they'll be better. They got Scamacca, who will bag them the goals, and they won't have to be relying on Mikel Antonio's inconsistency. The other signings they made have been decent, and I think they're going to be good next season. I don't think they're going to be very close to the Europa League spot. They'll just about beat Newcastle to the Conference League spot, and I also think West Ham will go far in the Conference League themselves. If you were making a list of the teams I've mentioned, you would know that the 6 clubs left are the typical big 6, and in the 6th place spot, I've gone with Erik Ten Hag's Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo wants to leave. He's their only source of goals. Yeah, they can make a few more signings. Maybe they could rely on Anthony Martial, but Anthony Martial is not going to bag you 20 goals. He might start off good, maybe bag 5 goals in the first 6 games, but then he's going to piss off. He's going to go missing for the rest of the season. Man United fans will still think he's the best player to ever exist.
Martial will be the best in the world.
And back-to-back seasons without Champions League football for Manchester United, but there will be an improvement from last season and they will comfortably get Europa League. Looking at the signings Man United have made, they've been very good. I think Eriksen is one of the best signings of the window. Bringing in a player like that who you get 2 or 3 years out for free, he's going to be fantastic for them this season. People have concerns over Lisandro Martinez's height. He's played as a defensive midfielder. He's likely going to play there for Man United. In the first 11, what they need is a proper striker. I'm assuming Ronaldo will leave, and they're going to need another central defender because I'm assuming Harry Maguire is going to end up starting because, well, he's a world-class captain and the best English defender. You keep trying to tell us that, English media. As my English teacher would say, propaganda. I bet she's proud of me now. In 5th place, I've gone with Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. They've made some very good signings like Jules Koundé. Oh, wait, he's gone to Barcelona. Oh, maybe like Rafinha. No, he's gone to Barcelona as well. But they got Raheem Sterling, a man that, well, Pep Guardiola was sick of. They've also brought in Koulibaly, who is a good centre-back to be fair, but they still need another centre-back because you don't really want to be going into a Premier League season with Mangala Sarr at the back. I think Chelsea will do alright this season. I don't think they'll be fantastic, but they'll do alright. If their fullbacks stay fit, they're going to be grand. And the new man, Raheem Sterling, you're going to have to expect goals from him. Otherwise, I think Chelsea could fall even further than Europa League. Just before I get into the top 4, the first collaboration of the lot, Cahill Football 10. Over 2,500 followers on TikTok. Everyone make sure to go over and follow him. I will link his stuff in the description. He's a Chelsea fan if you can't tell already, so he's going to give me his predictions for the upcoming season for his own club.
Right, so I'm Cahill Football off TikTok. Football Always has asked me just to give a quick prediction video on how I think the Premier League will play out and how I think Chelsea will do. So starting off with Chelsea, I think we'll get top 4 just about by the skin of our teeth as per usual in the last couple of seasons. If we receive injuries, like serious injuries where like you have a case of Chilwell out for like 2 or 3 months, I can see Arsenal pipping us. We have a better manager, but the problem with our squad is there is an awful lot of deadwood at the club. It's a big season for Kai Havertz. It's his 3rd season in English football and he's yet to set the world alight. So, you know, we're expecting big things from him. I'm not expecting like a lot of goals, but I'm expecting like more influential performances, if that makes sense. The champions will be Man City. Liverpool again will push them to that 95 plus point mark. But yeah, that's my prediction, so peace out.
Thank you to Cahill for that. Everyone make sure to go follow him on TikTok, like I already said. All his socials will be linked in the description. And now moving on to 4th place, and this will finally be the year Arsenal will return to the Champions League under Mikel Arteta. It feels like it's been eternity. Just bring me back to the days where Arsenal used to lose 5-1 to Bayern Munich. Fabio Vieira, very good signing. Zinchenko's a very good signing. Very tidy player. He's versatile. When Kieran Tierney's injured, he can play as left back. He can also play as a midfielder. Two positions Arsenal really struggled in depth-wise last season. And of course, the main man himself, Gabriel Jesus. He's going to bag goals. Of course he is. He scored 3 goals yesterday. If you told me last year I'd be thinking Gabriel Jesus could bag 15 to 20 Premier League goals, I would be laughing at you. But now he's got his move to Arsenal. He's going to be getting consistent minutes, and I do believe he will. And that's the final piece of the puzzle for Arsenal. They needed a goal scorer last season. Lacazette wasn't on it. Aubameyang wasn't on it. So that's what you bring in Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus' distant cousin Jesus Christ used to work miracles, and I think Gabriel Jesus is going to do the same thing and bring Arsenal back to Champions League football. And we have 2 collaborations in a row. Pablo Bosque, you might know him on TikTok. Again, all his socials will be linked in the description. Make sure to go follow him. Also, apologies if I'm saying your second name wrong. I almost 100% am. He's an Arsenal fan, and he's going to give me his input on the upcoming season for his club.
Well, I think Arsenal are going to have a season that surprises a lot of people. Last season we came 5th, of course, narrowly missing out in the Champions League, and that was with not really having a proper striker for the entire year. I mean, Alexandre Lacazette, he was below form, I think it's fair to say, for a lot of the season. Bringing in Gabriel Jesus, I think it was a fantastic move by Arsenal, and I think that he's going to get 20 plus goals this season. I think he's going to be pivotal with the rest of the young core, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, and our new centre-back pairing possibility of William Saliba, and the combination of that with Gabriel and Ben White. In general, though, Arsenal's transfer business this summer has just been fantastic. I think an underrated signing like Fabio Vieira was brilliant, and I think he's going to come to prominence throughout the season as one of the better creative midfielders in the league. And I also think that Zinchenko, that signing is fantastic. He's a great utility player to have, especially with Kieran Tierney and his injury problems. But yeah, I think Arsenal are going to be not necessarily in the title race. That's maybe a little bit too presumptuous and optimistic, but I do think that we're going to be hitting 25, 26 wins, possibly 27 in the season. And I think we're just going to be just behind those top two, the 2 powerhouses of Liverpool and Manchester City. I feel like we have the squad depth this season, even being in the Europa League, to do a lot better. So, who I think is going to win the league, between Liverpool and Man City, I'd probably edge Man City.
Thank you to Pablo for doing that. I really do appreciate it. Everyone make sure to go follow him on all his socials. I really do appreciate Pablo doing that, but I think I'm going to annoy him a little bit with this because I put his biggest rival, Spurs, ahead of them in 3rd place. Antonio Conte has made Spurs look like a different side, and I think they're easily going to get top 3. I don't think they'll be quite in the title race, maybe up until February. They fall off a little. Perisic is a very good signing. He might be a little bit injury prone, but I think he will be very good for Spurs. Yves Bissouma, very good signing, very good player. Big loss for Brighton, massive game for Spurs. I don't think Richarlison's fantastic, but he does add depth. 60 million, very overpriced. Jed Spence, well, Matt Doherty's clear, let's be honest here. It's not even the signings I'm looking at. I'm looking at a full season of Kane, Son, and Kulusevski. That front 3 is going to bag goals. They're going to be absolutely fantastic. And this might be crazy to say, but I think it's finally going to be the year Tottenham Hotspur win a trophy. Antonio Conte, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to work magic, because Tottenham winning a trophy, it just doesn't quite feel right, does it? But I think it actually is going to happen. Second, I'm going to go with the current Premier League champions, Manchester City. And people might laugh at me for this. They brought in Erling Haaland. Well, he missed an open goal. No, obviously Haaland is going to come good. I have no doubt over that. Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne, if you're a fullback, if you're a central defender, you're going to be crying. You don't want to be playing against that. As it stands, it's Guardiola's last year. His contract expires, and I think if he wins the Champions League, he will be gone. If he doesn't, maybe he will renew. I know I say it every year, but I don't think he's going to go all out to win the Premier League this year. The Champions League is going to be their priority. So if they're playing Chelsea in the Premier League, but they have Spartak Moscow midweek, that probably wasn't the best team to choose. But if they have Spartak Moscow midweek, they're going to be focusing on the game versus Spartak Moscow and maybe lose points to a team like Chelsea. And of course, yes, it is very biased. I think the Premier League champions this year are going to be Liverpool. What kind of fan would I be if I said we didn't win it? Darwin Núñez yesterday in the Community Shield, he was absolutely fantastic. He scored a goal, his running was brilliant. I think he's going to do fantastic for us. Not quite going to be Sadio Mane, no one really can be. But I think he will bag the goals. He'll be important for us. And I think it's going to be a similar thing to the year we won the league. The team is going to be so angry. They're going to be heartbroken from losing the Premier League last season by just 1 point, that they're going to come back better. And they're going to go out and win themselves the Premier League. But for me, the priority should be the Premier League this season. I'd usually be a Champions League person, but just to get level with Man United on titles, this year should be the year we focus on the Premier League. Well, thank you all so much for watching this year's Premier League predictions. How many do you think I'm going to get right? Hopefully this year I get some right. Let me know in the comments your Premier League winners, who will get relegation. Just give me a full list in the comments, and you know, please don't bully me and don't call me stupid. Make sure to go follow Pablo and Cathal. Both TikToks will be linked in the description. Give them a follow. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you when Liverpool are Premier League champions. Well, I probably will upload before Liverpool win the Premier League. You know, I'll probably upload tomorrow. So, see you tomorrow. Bye.